Hey guys, how we doing today?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin.
All right, Josh is back.
Yeah. I feel like this last episode, and I'm getting into the season,
We are.
was our first hopeful episode, our first uplifting episode.
We needed it.
Yeah,
We really
where
did.
where like the cast kind of came through and got a little bit of a win
Yes.
because I mean
Everybody really.
we started the season with a with a kidnapped daughter, right?
Yeah,
and
been
it's
bleak.
it's just been bleak story after bleak story after bleak story, right?
I kind of like it though. I like that we see that. I like that we had like the lows are low, but the highs are so high on the show. You know what I mean?
They are, but I think this is the longest stretch where it's just been.
It has been. Yeah.
It's just been, like, well, that was a downtrodden episode, like one after another. I mean, what are we on? Half a dozen episodes in, and
Yeah.
like that was our first one. It was fun. Like, okay, not everything is completely drab, and I'm not complaining about the drab episodes. Some of the best episodes on the show are pretty rough.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get a respite. It was really well written. Everyone was on the same page, and Josh and Bartlett both came through
Brought it.
really big
Brought it. Yeah.
in victory. It was a Halfley is his name. The Speaker of the House is a frustrating character to go up against. He's formidable.
Yeah.
He is a walking soundbite, right? He knows how
For
to
sure.
say all the things, but win at all costs, right? We're at the beginning of that period of American politics. It doesn't matter who's right. It doesn't matter if we govern. All that matters is if it looks like we win. And it was really nice to see him lose.
It was. And somebody on Patreon told us that this bled into real life too during one of the shutdowns during Obama's administration.
Right.
It's like, should we pull a Bartlett and walk down there?
Yes.
Which I think is awesome.
Sure.
But I wonder if because this season has been so downtrodden, that's why some people don't like it as much as the others.
Well, it definitely had a more somber tone, like for a stretch here.
Yeah.
And I think now that we're like really living life without Aaron Sorkin and especially without Sam being on the show at all, I think it's like the reality of like they're just not going to be there talked about kind of sets in.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think that might have something to do with part of it.
And what I really like too is that a lot of you guys have said on Patreon that this is your second time or fourth, fifth time watching it, and watching it with us for the first time, you guys have kind of noticed new things. And I like that some of you are kind of being open to this season.
Sure.
Because we've definitely enjoyed it. This is our first time watching this.
Obviously. I agree with that. I find huge value in going back and watching things a second time.
Sure.
There's the better a show or a film is, the more nuance there is, the more it's like you will miss things.
Yep.
The first time I watched The Big Lebowski, I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I was like, "What was that I just watched?" And I waited over a year before I would sit down and watch it again. And then I watched it again. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see where the humor really is and what really works about these characters. And I think Mad Men will be a show that I'm going to love on a second watch, and I think I'm going to love going back through this. Sure. I'm definitely going to rewatch this again.
That's why discourse is so important.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing, right? You watch something, if it's good, you can talk about it with other people.
Yeah.
We have plenty of people on YouTube and Patreon who come back and are like, I see what you're saying. Here's my perspective of when I watch. It's like, oh wait, I didn't consider that.
It makes you look at things differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
And then some people, some people obviously there's a little bit of trolling and a little bit of like, I want to fight about it.
Troll's gonna troll.
Troll's gonna troll. Here's why you're dumb. I watched the show 30 times and you're stupid.
Right.
All right, man. We can disagree, right? But I like the fact that we did have a kind of a positive, uplifting episode. It's like, okay, it's good to see that the show just isn't about, because really this is an idealistic political show. I really wish they'd make Sorkin would come back and do a new one starting, in 2024
we need it.
with the new White House.
I think we need it.
I do too. With our political climate now, I think we do need it. But I do like the fact that a show that's built on being kind of an idealistic White House actually has some positive idealism to see for once in the next several episodes.
It's pretty uplifting for sure.
All right, we should jump into it. We do want to thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here with us, and I'd like to give a special shout out to Actuarial Lurker, Balas Foldes, Chris, Jeff, Christy Goverston, NJ, Surya Gundavarapu, and Weird Magic. Thank you so much, guys. We're glad you're here with us.
Yes, we are. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel. If you might hit the like button for us, leave us a comment down below, and please hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we've coming your way.
If you'd like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or watching, please check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. On every show we're watching, including The West Wing, we are at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon of where we are on YouTube. So if you get done watching the YouTube edits and want to keep going on episodes, you can do it on our Patreon page. You will have to sync and watch along on your own source material. You are only going to see and hear us for copyright purposes. We're also watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Christmas episode. Yeah. Let's hope Josh can handle the bells. Yeah. Usually it's 10, those are big ones.
Yeah. So maybe it's just Christmas time. And
maybe it's more than one episode, yeah.
We restarted the government, Toby. There was a showdown at the OK Corral, and we gunned down the Clantons. We're heroes.
Yeah.
The DEA just suspended a Waterville doctor's drug license for giving a terminal patient enough narcotics to kill her.
What's against the law?
I think we should all spend Christmas at Liz's in-laws.
We're invited.
Never again. I still have flashbacks.
You didn't sit up all night with Gene.
DNC's a maybe. Up-offs, maybe. Hostages? Did he just say hostage?
Yes, he did.
And by New Year's, I'm a pariah.
It's like, Margaret, hold on.
Lizzie!
Oh, there's my guy.
How are you, kid?
It's nice that they go out and greet him.
Hey,
I like that one. Yeah, I do too.
Doug. I was a
You might want to put the kid down for this.
Yeah.
12 relief workers in Sudan got thrown in jail. Congressman's on CNN calling them hostages.
Were they proselytizing?
We don't know. Richter says no. He spoke to a junior officer at the Sudan desk.
All right, let's get him in here. What about the DEA? What do they say?
They're calling it a violation of the Controlled Substances Act. The narcotic he used is federally controlled.
So is a handgun.
The doctor's not hiding his intentions. The state of Oregon says it's legal. He was assisting a terminal patient to hasten the end of her suffering.
It's tough.
Well, it sounds like the DEA is overstepping then if it's not a federal crime.
Doug Weston's in your office.
Liz is done?
What's not with his in-laws?
Doug, to your friends.
A perfectly nice guy.
Speak slowly. You don't want to lose him.
Check it out.
Oh my God, that's mean.
That's not, yeah. Who's taking shots at Doug?
Doug catching strays.
New Hampshire, 1st District.
Ken Campbell.
He's stepping out, end of this term. I think with a little help from you fine people, I'm going to be elected to the United States House of Representatives.
Oh, this is going to be ugly, isn't it? Doug. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say either.
The voters of Oregon have declared the termination of a life of pain and suffering to be a legitimate medical purpose.
It's murder.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy's not going to help. Yeah.
He's not budging.
You'll be hearing from the president.
White House interfering with a federal prosecution?
So Dylan Baker's not our friend on the show.
Not this one. Yeah. Oh, he's a spy. He's a political hack.
Any word from Ellie?
She's running an experiment on viral load reproduction, and she hopes it'll wrap up in time for the thing tonight.
Proselytizing's punishable by death over there.
They're not going to do that.
Of course they're religious. Someone asks them what it means to be a Christian, they're going to give an answer.
As soon as they know it's a presidential priority, they will hold us up for millions.
I've got 22 days of Christmas events ahead of me.
It's a thing where they've had before. It's like the president weighs in, it becomes a much bigger issue.
For sure.
Liz is concerned that Gus may be overwhelmed with the cameras and the crowd and all. We're going to practice.
Flipping a switch?
You guys are asking me to groom a backwater congressman. I can't do that.
We didn't ask you to groom Russell for a presidential run.
Your confidence is touching.
Meanwhile, if the vice president would be so kind in between campaign stops, could he do the president this favor? Yeah, a nice young guy from New Hampshire wants to run for Campbell's seat. Married to the boss's daughter.
I'll talk to him.
I can talk to him.
No,
Sure.
I'll do it.
Mr. President, you went to Josh.
Yeah, don't take the bullet in your family, man.
They're already kind of mad at you.
Yeah, you're right. You're just getting back on good terms with them.
Yeah.
You found him, brought it up, carefully considered, then decided I can go stuff it?
He agreed with my analysis that death plays poorly at Christmas. I don't want this to be acrimonious.
No, you certainly
Yeah.
don't.
Whoa,
The president
wow.
will take it to the vice president.
He's talked about running for governor.
Oh, so that's what
AG?
this is all about.
We have no constitutional right to die. Refuse treatment, yeah, but...
The framers never considered the notion of degenerative death.
CJ, how's your dad?
He's in the hospital.
That's gonna cry. Because her dad really got me.
Yeah, I really like her dad.
So, New Hampshire, 1st District.
Yeah, what you got?
You know a guy named Mitchell Clark?
Well, once the public gets to know me as an individual, it's an entirely different race.
Wow, he has no self-awareness.
What about state legislature? It's
Josh
To that, I'd be like, listen, I'd be like-
dude, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
the press is itching for a story with
The
blood
court
in
will
it.
stop him. There's no way.
1 in 5 patients requesting aid in dying has MS. Does the First Lady have 4 glass vials and a syringe in a lockbox in the nightstand?
I like that Toby can shoot him straight.
Toby has never really held back with him.
No, it's a good thing.
I think he thinks he's still running.
You didn't tell him?
He took it more like a cautionary tale.
Oh, for the love of God.
He's resilient.
In no uncertain terms.
I'm sorry.
Draw a picture if you need. A ballad in a circle with a line through it. Ages 20 and 23, respectively, had a grand total of 18 Bibles and a video on the lives of the apostles.
So they were breaking the law.
But they know what was going on.
And we know that's where the money comes in.
3.2 billion men in the world. She picks him. My children choose morons, every one.
They say daughters look for their fathers.
We had a guide, a Bedouin man, who called me Abu El Banat. Abu El Banat means father of daughters. They thought the T was the least they could do.
Back to the King Lear kind of reference here, yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Moving into your new place across the street.
I don't have a new place.
Oh.
Will Bailey, OEOB.
Toby's taking his office.
But I don't want you to feel
We're
like
asking you not to run.
Who's we?
The DNC.
It's a lot of fun to be had with all the nobody's good enough for the president's daughter stuff, but I'm not actually an idiot.
He took that very personally.
You did.
Did you?
Oh, she's gonna.
Grab
This
a
might
drink
get
if
rough.
that works.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Don't drag politics into your family.
I know. Well, it's hard to do the president.
2 more doctors? You couldn't wait a year to start campaigning?
Mr.
You
President.
don't run for governor from my cabinet. You pull this crap one more time, you're fired. Tell Janet Merry Christmas.
See? Good. Nice and quick.
You handled that one.
He did. I've always loved Hope Davis as an actress. She's fantastic.
Elizabeth,
You couldn't give him the courtesy of 5 minutes?
Doug didn't call Hal Collins, you did. You recruited the finance committee. You're the politician. Why the hell don't you run?
Because Annie pierced her face.
When Annie and Gus watch you walk onto the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives.
I don't want my son to be a part of my entourage.
She doesn't want it, yeah.
Did you talk to Liz?
I'm not sure we're going to see her for dinner.
We didn't beat them.
There's still time. I can't remember when it was just the 5 of us and weather and everybody in their slippers.
We don't do that.
No syringe in the nightstand. It'll get ugly, and that's that.
Okay. That's a heavy conversation for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We needed that. We really needed that. Now it's a Bartlett family Christmas.
There it is. Yep. Get the 3 daughters at the tree.
It's fine. I just thought maybe I could send a ham. This is CJ. I'm his daughter.
This is brutal.
Yeah, it really is. Go ahead.
That's cute.
That is so sweet. This was a great episode. Okay.
Yeah, I did like this.
Okay,
a lot.
West Wing. Good, season 5. We're doing all right. I thought that was a fantastic episode. That was really nice.
I thought we would have a moment eventually, and I didn't know where, when, where the White House was going to need Bob to do something, Bob Russell to do something, and Will was going to be the roadblock. Because his concern, understandably, has to be the political well-being of his boss, the vice president.
Yeah.
And Will was going to have to say, no, we're not doing this for the administration because it happened with Hoynes more than once, right?
Sure.
There were times Hoynes is like, it is bad for my political future. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be your pit bull on this issue.
That's true life. I mean,
right.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I thought the one interesting facet of that with Will going to work for him is that's going to do exactly what it did here and put Will in direct conflict with Toby.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they used Toby to actually be the messenger to really make it make the to make the combative nature take hold.
Yeah, and so much so to where he's like, I'm just moving.
Yeah, that was a petty move for sure.
Yeah.
Right, like, you don't want to help the West Wing.
You don't work here.
You don't have to work here in the West Wing. Yeah,
which is pretty on brand for Toby, honestly. You know, starting the episode off, we kind of I was assuming this was going to be about the hostages and about the
assisted, right?
Yes,
the thing we can't say.
Can't say. Which
the doctor issue,
which I think are both two very interesting topics. You know,
right?
Obviously, Jack Kevorkian, very controversial.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why they're doing it. For sure. Kevorkian was somewhere around the 90s, and this is early 2000s, but somewhere there.
I know they made a movie about it, which I haven't seen. It's an HBO movie. It's called You Don't Know Jack with Al Pacino.
I thought it's Pacino, right?
I haven't seen it either. want to check it out eventually. And as far as the missionaries go, also a controversial subject. If you want to debate that, we can talk about that on Patreon. But I think that's really the point of this episode.
It ended up not being just attention's pulled away.
Sure.
To kind of like make family connection difficult.
Yeah.
They really had to face that.
Doug really became
with the underlying MS, issue underneath it. Doug really stole a lot of the family focus.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I put all of that on Doug and Liz. They made a huge assumption.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll start putting together a campaign for you. Then we'll go ask our dad to go in and endorse you, which he'll absolutely say yes because there are no other considerations, and it'll be fine.
It's a big assumption.
Well, it was a huge assumption. I feel like the conversations should have started there first before they started doing anything else.
Yeah,
hey, Dad, you're the president. Doug had this idea this morning. Let me bounce it off you. Not when you're on, step 15. And expect it to be the endorsement to be handed to you. It's a big ask. There's just so much to it,
Ask around there for exactly what do you guys got going on? Can you use Doug?
Or just ask, the president, what do you think of him running? Yeah. And that's an easy way to get a feeler. Hey, Dad, Doug's thinking about running for this House seat. What do you think? I'm sure that she can talk to her dad anytime.
And they laid it, exactly. And they laid it out like pretty clearly at the beginning. I don't want to talk to Doug about his kayak. It kind of sums up what Bartlet thinks about him. He thinks he's a great guy, good father. Just he doesn't really take it seriously.
Not his realm. He is not. He's not on the same level in Jed's mind. He's not on the same intellectual and I guess professional seriousness, whatever level, as the other members of his family.
And like skipping that step in New Hampshire and just going straight to the big leagues it's a big ask. It really is.
It is, especially, and I think Josh is right. You want to go from not. It was like when certain dumb people run for president or any elected office that have never been in public service before. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like one of us trying,
Yeah, exactly.
If we had the capital.
Yeah, right. It's like when everyone was talking about Kanye or The Rock running for president. It was like,
why?
These guys are not people who have worked in public service.
You want a baseball player to prepare your food?
Work your way up. I don't get up in the morning and decide, you know what? I like baseball. I'm going to start in right field tonight for the Yankees. That is not how it works.
Exactly. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, right. That's just not the universe we live in.
It's really
and I think it was, and I know I'm being a little bit harsh, but Doug is asking for, and I know the Representatives is like the people's house.
Sure.
So there are people who run for that who have, very little to no experience. It's a lot better than the ones running for governor and president, or Senate. But, if you look at someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Tommy Tuberville, who have no business being anywhere near government, but they are.
And I don't think it's being harsh. I think you're.
Yeah, and I think I'm like, Doug, baby, you don't know what you're doing. Stay away from these are important jobs for serious people.
100%. It's not being harsh. You're nailing it on the head because you have to be realistic about these kind of things.
Yeah, not only that, he is running purely on nepotism. That's it. He's Donald Trump Jr. It's just like I am who I am because of who my dad is. Yep. And God, stop,
please.
That's not you.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you not being that guy.
Right. There's nothing wrong with not being that guy. And there are nepotism babies, right?
Yes.
Who are absolutely talented.
Yeah, we're not saying don't be ambitious. Just know your lane.
Yeah. It was like, well, I'm going to have this guy, because I have to be related to him, get me this thing that I'm really not going to earn. Yay me! It's
crazy we live in a world where it's like, is it too much to ask for the person that's qualified for this job, or for the right person to get the job?
Yeah, wouldn't a meritocracy be great? Because I mean, like, what's his name? Dennis Quaid's kid. He's on The Boys.
Oh, Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. I don't watch The Boys, but I know who he is. He's in the unit. He's out there.
He's working.
And he's addressed it before. He's like, I get that I am a product of nepotism. 100%. I work hard, but there's no way around the fact that because of who my parents are, that has a lot to do with my success.
Yeah, it's a double whammy. Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, exactly. So Hawk. What's her name? Maya Hawke, Maya Hawke, talented, glad she works.
Yeah.
You know, I have nothing against Maya Hawke, but she absolutely benefits.
The thing is, the stakes are a little lower there.
And exactly, and that's not like making decisions that impact people's lives.
Yeah,
like
that's quality. I want if nepotism's going to play in terms of like entertainment, get it. You kind of like they've been living around that their whole lives, right? They know what they're doing. Sure, they know the biz. This is so much.
This is so much. This
lives,
is yeah,
you know?
right. You're making decisions like are people going to be able to to afford their medication? You're voting on the budget. You're voting on Medicare. You're
Now if they are qualified, by all means.
Yeah, but
by all means.
But I think this was a really good episode to show us that's not Doug.
Sure, 100%.
All right, sorry we wandered a little bit, but I thought that
I think it's on brand.
I do. I think that's what the show was about, and I think it was worth talking about. All right, we'll catch you in the next one, guys.
See ya.